Well, the game that the entire world has been waiting for to see to it that Arsenal goes 5 points clear ahead of City is going to be played on Wednesday. And it's Arsenal versus Everton at the Emirates. The last time Everton came here, Arsenal beat them by 5 goals to 1. The goal of Everton was scored by Donny van de Beek, Edin Ketia, Odegaard, Emily Smith-Rowe, Bukayo Saka. Close to 5 Arsenal players. I think Edin Ketia scored a brace. Was it Martinelli? I think it was Martinelli who scored a brace because even he scored a penalty. I think it was the opener of the game. I think Martinelli scored a brace, Nketiah was on target, Odegaard was on target, Saka was on target, and Emily Smith-Rowe was too on target into that beautiful game of football that closed the season of Arsenal at Emirates. They won it by 5-1. Donny van de Beek, who was by then on loan to Everton, found himself on the score sheet towards, I think he scored that only goal of Everton, obviously, into that encounter. But it's really going to be a very beautiful game altogether, happening down at the Emirates, and Arsenal is really going to be looking forward to win this game. It's really a tough one, but I know Mikel Arteta has all what it takes to win such games, because if at all he has gone away at home and won 2 consecutive games, then that should be replicated at home by winning against a team known as Everton. Smash the like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, lower right bottom corner is the place to be. Smash the black button that has the word subscribe, and smashing it, hit the notification bell that whenever you get notified every time I upload a video onto our channel. Now, Mikel Arteta is having a huge dilemma, especially in the midfield position. Thomas Partey or Jorginho. We are going to discuss that a lot. Trossard or Martinelli. Trossard or Edin Ketia. That's another dilemma. Grant Xhaka over Fabio Vieira. I brought you a story where Mikel Arteta came out loud and told us how big a headache Fabio Vieira is causing to him, because he's turning into a player that looks like should be starting every game. In this era, or in this time when games are increasing in number, because Arsenal has been rarely playing 2 games per week ever since we came out from the World Cup. But with games like those coming in thick and fast, you have to make rotation. And is he going to start to make rotations that are really pure or real in the game of Everton? That and more into this. But Everton is placed 18th, meaning that they're amongst the 3 teams that are going to be relegated. If at all the Premier League is to end today, they don't survive. Arsenal are topping the league. If the Premier League is to end today, they are the champions of the Premier League. So, as it stands, it just sends a clear message to everyone all over the world that this game is really going to be so much contagious. Do you know why? Arsenal is fighting to gate 5 points ahead of City and 11 ahead of Manchester United. Then Everton is fighting hard to find themselves in a position of really winning this beautiful game of football and obviously go to 24 points to go past teams like Leeds and West Ham and level up with a team called Wolverhampton Wanderers and Leicester City, because all of them are 24 points, but they would have gone ahead to play their 25th game, yet those teams have played only how many games? Only 24 games. So that means he's going to have played one more game more than the other teams. Now, let's look at the away form of Everton ever since they really returned from the World Cup. They drew with City 1-1. United beat them in the FA Cup by 3-1. West Ham beat them 2-0 at the Tottenham Hotspur at the London Stadium. Then Liverpool beat them 2-0 in the Merseyside Derby. Alright. Their last game they played at home, Aston Villa beat them by 2-0. Now for Arsenal, their recent 2 games at home, they drew with Brentford and they lost to Man City. Their recent 2 games they've played away, and they are 2 recent games in the Premier League. They've beaten Aston Villa by 4-2, and Leicester City 1-0. So as it stands, Everton really looks set to come on and really upset a team known as Arsenal, but I think Arsenal has gained momentum again. I think they've gained momentum again from the team they were after losing to Everton, after losing to City. I think they've gone ahead to collect themselves and really gain back the levels they're supposed to be on. That is Arsenal for you. And I believe they're really going to be so much better a team to come in through under the needful. Looks like Calvert-Lewin might be in rotation to return as far as this is concerned. So we are waiting to see who is really going to be starting. Damian Gray, Alex Iwobi, and obviously very many others are really in to come in and be the needful in the beautiful game of football. But for Arsenal, Gabriel Jesus is soon returning in training, and I think he's going to train with the first team for the very first time this week, but I don't expect him to start or even be in the match squad. But Thomas Partey, fully fit. Who else? El Nini is out. Reece Nelson is back and has been making the team news or the team squad. Today, Jakub Kiwior and Emily Smith-Rowe have started the games of under 21 for Arsenal. So it looks like Mikel Arteta is trying to galvanize his squad to get ready for the game of Everton. So as it stands, Arsenal are almost having a fully fit squad apart from El Nini and Gabriel Jesus. Those are the only two that are really doubts, but the rest are really variable. Now, where does that lead us to? It leads us into why is this game important for Arsenal. It's important for Arsenal because if they win it, they go 5 points ahead of City. City has closed them down to 2 points because they've played 25 games. Arsenal have played 24 games. They are level with Manchester United. All have played 24 games. United is having 49 points. Arsenal is having 57 points. So it shows you how huge a gap Arsenal has created between them and Manchester United. If at all they win, they would have extended their gap between them and Manchester United to 11. Though United will be having a game in hand. United never played over the weekend because they are playing a Carabao Cup finale that they won against Newcastle. Now, let's get into the predicted starting 11 of these teams because we need to dissect it now. The game is going to be played at the Emirates, a seater of 60,704 people or occupants. The system obviously 4-3-3. It's not 4-4-3. It's 4-3-3. I'm sorry about that. It's a 4-3-3 system that he's going to deploy on Wednesday as Mikel Arteta takes on Everton. I hope some big changes according to me. And in goal, obviously, Aaron Ramsdale. He's really a very good goalkeeper. In the game of Aston Villa, had lots of saves to make. In the game of Leicester City, he was not disturbed at all. He was not disturbed at all. I just saw him take a dive towards the left or the right corner, the right bottom corner of the goal, but that shot went out begging. That's it. So I expect him to start in goal, and for him it's a constant. It's very hard to change a goalkeeper, especially in these Premier League games that are really kept on playing game in, game out. We go to the right back here. Ben White has been looking good in these previous games, but with very many games coming thick and fast, I expect the first change for the manager to make on Wednesday, it's going to be Ben White. And I believe Tomiyasu is going to start. I think you have to start rotating. With the games coming in quick, midweek, over the weekend, and again midweek, Arsenal has to travel to Portugal, Lisbon, to play Sporting Lisbon. So that just shows you how much Arsenal is really having to do to keep its players fit. And the only solution is simple. Rotation is paramount. I believe Tomiyasu might start, according to me, because it's high time the manager really brought him in to get some minutes in here onto the Rokani Media Football. Left back, I think for the importance of this game, you need a leader like this guy, known as Alexander Zinchenko. You need a leader like him to come out and really lead your team in the best way possible. That is the guy known as Zinchenko. captaining Arsenal against Leicester as they were marking an anniversary since a war broke out between Ukraine and Russia. He captained the team to win, and it's really doing great for a team known as Arsenal. So I believe Zinchenko is going to be started. According to me, he's going to be started as a left back in that beautiful game of football as Arsenal hosts Everton. Central defense with Jakub Kivio starting today in the under 21s. I don't expect him to come in through and really start. So these two men are really going to be kept together. That is William Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes. For a very long time, they've managed to keep a clean sheet. I believe Arsenal last kept a clean sheet when they are playing against Newcastle, and it was a 0-0. Ever since then, they last kept a clean sheet when they are playing against. They had last kept a clean sheet when they are playing against Tottenham Hotspur. They won that game by 2-0. After Tottenham Hotspur, they played Manchester United. It ended 3-2. That means they conceded 2. They played Man City in the FA Cup 1-0. They conceded 1. They played Everton. Everton hit them by 1-0. They played Brentford. It ended 1-1. They played Manchester City. The game ended 3-1. They conceded 3 goals. They played Aston Villa the next game. They conceded 2, though they scored 4 and won it. That means they had spent very many games out of keeping a clean sheet. And this was not part of Arsenal. Arsenal was a team that was really keeping good clean sheets for a very, very long time. But this time around, it was all in vain, but they returned and kept their first clean sheet ever since they kept one against Tottenham Hotspur when they are playing against Leicester City on Saturday. And it's one of those games that I saw Arsenal dominate the beautiful game of football, and they really looked great. That is Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes. Let's go to the central defensive position. This is where most people are really wanting to know, what is Rokani having in his mind? My mind is telling me the following. 1, Arteta rewards players who play very well. He picks players on merit. He doesn't pick players on favoritism. I believe he rewards a player according to his performances. I believe Jorginho is one of those players that played very well against Man City, Aston Villa, and Leicester City. Now, Thomas Partey is back. He came in through and played some 10 minutes, meaning that he's fully fit. But if you're Mikel Arteta, with the games coming in thick and fast, what decision do you take? Do you hurry back Thomas Partey in such games? If I'm Mikel Arteta, I don't hurry Thomas Partey. I just keep playing Jorginho and just increase the number of minutes that Thomas Partey is playing on the field of play. Last time he played like 10-15. This time round, it's better I bring him and he plays some 30 minutes. Just develop him into that way for him to get back used onto the system and that match presence. Because the more you hurry him, the more you are increasing the risk of really losing him again. So I believe Jorginho should start into that single pivot position because he's been playing it very well, and he just gives Arsenal an extra reference, especially in that midfield area, because he's a passer of the ball, and the way Arsenal is dominating possession when they're having him is really ridiculous. That is Jorginho for you. We go to the other players that we expect to start. Odegaard, I know he's going to start and drop a ball. Then Xhaka is also going to start. I don't see this as a perfect game for the manager to make a change to get Xhaka out and bring in a player called Fabio Vieira. With the physicality of Everton and not starting Thomas Partey, you expect Jorginho to have a lot of work to do in that midfield. And if we're having Granit Xhaka, he'll come out and really help them, really try to mark the legs of Edwin Onana. It's Gueye Onana. Sorry about that. And Okore. So that physicality will be needed in that midfield 3. And them playing at Emirates, it's another fortress that Mikel Arteta has turned it into. And they've only lost one game at Emirates this season. It was against Man City. And obviously, they had a chance to win it, but they failed to win it because they failed to convert the chances. Right forward, no question about that. It's always Bukayo Saka. And you know that very well, that is always Bukayo Saka. Now, the contention comes in here. The questions on whether they should start or not comes in here in these positions. Let's start off with the left forward. Now, Trossard or Gabriel Martinelli? I believe Gabriel Martinelli has earned his right to start again because in the previous 2 games, he's going to have to score 2 goals for Arsenal. And there is no way you bench a player who is really in such a form. As I've defended other players that it's supposed to be on merit, not favoritism, I believe he has shown and fought to get his position back. That is Gabriel Martinelli. Now, the big question goes on to who is going to lead the line. Is it Edin Nketiah or Leandro Trossard? I think Trossard really played a very wonderful game of football and looked great. And I believe, or I reckon, he deserves to start as the forward of Arsenal in that game of Everton, because Everton is going to sit back. They're going to play a deep line. They are going to play a low block. And when they play a low block, you don't do the needful to expose them and really see those pockets of spaces by choosing Nketiah. I think the best person to come in through and really disorganize them is Leandro Trossard. So that is my starting 11, predicted starting 11 of Arsenal, and I believe most of it is going to go that way, and we are going to be here waiting to see who has the manager really chosen and who has not chosen. But Arsenal has always been a very good team against Everton. They are really having a very good record at home against Everton, though away at home it has always been nasty, and no Arsenal fan would love to know what their results are always when Arsenal is playing a team called Everton. It's really nasty, and Everton puts there a very fatal display. Last season, they lost at Everton by 2-1. No, it was 2-0. Arsenal never even scored. Aubameyang, Odegaard, and Vermeer got the chances, but they never really put them to bed. So I believe they are going to come up to make it hard for them. You know the Sean Dyche style. They're going to make it hard for the Arsenal team. But I know he works all moves with people who are really ready to get that done and dusted out of the way. So thank you guys for watching in through. So your reactions to Arsenal versus Everton match preview are welcome in the comment section below. What are your thoughts about Arsenal? Do you think it's going to be Partey? Do you think it's going to be Thomas Partey or Jorginho in that midfield? Because I think that's one of the contagious changes that people might see. Tomiyasu, Ben White. Tomiyasu, I think, is going to come in through. Trossard, Martinelli. Martinelli is going to start. And obviously, through the set, I expect Trossard to go ahead and really lead. Because if you're a very good manager, what you have to do is to keep rotating players. The more you don't keep rotating players, they are going to get that attitude onto them and obviously get annoyed. So may the Almighty Lord bless you abundantly. But that is my predicted starting 11 of Arsenal, with Ramsdale in goal, right back Tomiyasu, left back Zinchenko, central defense William Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes, Jorginho for Partey, Xhaka, Odegaard, midfield 3, and obviously there comes Martinelli, Trossard, and Bukayo Saka. That is my team that I believe Arteta is going to name to take on a side known as Everton at the Emirates. So, can't we call it the end of the video, because I've done everything. I've told you what it's all about and why we're here. It's all about Arsenal versus Everton. A big encounter happening at Emirates. It's not tomorrow, it's on Wednesday, and we are anticipating a very huge win for Arsenal in that beautiful game of football. My prediction is Arsenal 3, Everton 0. Arsenal 3, Everton 0. Everton doesn't have all what it takes to stop Arsenal from really putting the number of goals they want past them. Over the weekend, they lost, and they come to a side called Emirates to find back themselves to winning ways. Guys, he's out, and we just want to say that Arsenal might win this one very, very favorably, and they are my number 1 champions about this. So thank you guys for watching in through. I sign out for now. See you later. As my prediction 3-0, and I've given you my verdict over Thomas Partey over Jorginho. Bye-bye.